What's going on, YouTube? This is Jose over at Spider Tumblers coming back at you with another. We're just gonna say video because it's not a mystery mail call, it's not a mystery box, and it's not any kind of unboxing. But this video here, I was tagged by Big Lion Cat over on Instagram and on YouTube. He did his top 10 video along with some of the other YouTube community members. I'm really bad at when people tag me on stuff because I tend to either forget about it or a lot of times I have to focus some other time to it that I didn't have planned out. A lot of times my time is already kind of weeded thin a little bit, but he reminded me and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and sit down and do this. It may be real quick, but this is going to be my top 10 MCU picks. Movies in the order that I would probably watch them over and over. Obviously 10 from being the to 1 being I can sit there and watch that all the time. I did keep Eternals out of it because I have not watched Eternals, and I did keep SpiderMan out because, one, I haven't watched it yet. Although I am a webhead till the day I die, but I have not gone out and watched it. I have this thing about crowds and such, so it's just I have to go in there and I have to have it quiet. If I hear noise, it annoys the hell out of me and it just ruins the movie for me. Keep in mind everything else I've watched in the theaters, but I've either gone early or I've gone on a day that I know there's not going to be anybody there, or it's been a while so it kind of died out. So Spider-Man is on the list. Eternals, I may just wait till they start showing it on either DVD or stream it. I'm real bad at buying DVDs. I buy everything, so I have to have the hard copy in hand. But let's go ahead and start off with my top 10 list. I'm going to try to put the pictures here somewhere on the side. I'm going to try to do this a little different. I'm not too good at a lot of this stuff here, but I'm learning. I'm trying. But my top 10, my spot 10 is going to be a little different. I'm sure a lot of other people did this also, whether it was one of these two movies. But I'm going to put Hulk and Iron Man on the same tier. Number 10 goes to Hulk and Iron Man. Because I know growing up in the 80s and in the 90s, we watched a lot of these, even watching reruns from the 70s, we watched a lot of these Marvel movies that were, let's be honest, not all that great. But the technology at the time was what it was, So I think when they introduced Spider-Man back into the Marvel movies, is everybody started getting a good feel for it until they released Spider-Man 3. So Hulk and Iron Man were a good way to start this whole MCU kickoff. I preferred Edward Norton as the Hulk, but things are the way things are. So for me, I was excited to see the Hulk come out, and I was excited to see Iron Man. So I can put them both together. Origin stories, as we know, die out very quickly. People don't want to see them all the time because a lot of us know the character. It is veered towards the younger viewers, and maybe they don't know much about who they are. It's a good way to introduce them. I personally don't read a lot of books, so I tend to go with the movies, and with a lot of these YouTube videos that I watch, I will get a lot of the knowledge there. Or if I kind of spark an interest in myself, I will actually Google it like most people do. Or if I do have the book, I'll kind of flick through the pages real quick and get a little bit more of that understanding. So that is one of my downfalls that I need to get better on 2022 is read a little bit more of my books. And I will be working on that hopefully pretty soon. I'm one of those guys, and I guess they can say it's part of my OCD part of it, because I don't like not knowing the outcomes of stuff. That I have never been one to watch even TV shows to where they show you one episode a week. Disney Plus is doing that to me now, where I can only come in one episode a week, but I tend to forget. I hate following storylines that way, and I tend to forget, and sometimes I have to go back and watch 2 or 3 of them at one time, or I forgot what happened. And just even on TV shows growing up, I could not watch something week by week. I couldn't. So books to me were the same way. Now, don't get me wrong, the Sunday Funnies, I could read those because they didn't tie into a lot of stuff. Some of them were just, Peanuts had this and all this other stuff, Garfield and so forth. I could watch them, I can read them in my leisure. So it's hard for me. That's why a lot of these movies, the way they were introduced, the storyline breakthroughs, watching why am I forgetting this? Watching the TV show. Give me a minute. Agents of Shield. It was hard for me to keep up with that because the timelines and such, and I had to watch every week. So it's just one of those things. But that's me personally. So Hulk and Iron Man number 10 for me. So I like everybody else I was excited. I'm not gonna say this is everybody else's number 9 because that's not the way it works. But for me, number 9 is gonna have to be the Avengers. I was so excited to finally hear everybody got back together. They made a movie with everybody. I didn't care for a lot of the singles like Captain America, Thor, and such, but they're still part of the MCU, and I have to respect that because it created what it created in this film industry. So for me to see all of them on the big screen was great. So I have to give Avengers obviously the first Avengers number 9. This one's going to be a little weird because I almost put Avengers before this, but number 8 for me is going to have to be AntMan. So growing up, I always had this infatuation with creatures, critters, animals, such and such. I collected grasshoppers. I don't know why. I wish there was a way I could have talked to them, communicated with them. I know it sounds weird, but I even did a science project on grasshoppers. So when I seen Ant-Man, even in the comic books, it always sparked that little interest in what if you could shrink down to the size of a critter and be able to use them or talk to them or even interact with them. I thought it would be pretty neat until you get movies, like back in the 70s, the black and white ones where you have the giant spiders and you have just different critters going at you. And I remember Squirm, late 80s movie or an 80s movie about the night crawlers, the worms that ate people. So then you had stuff like that you're like, yeah, maybe not. But number 8 has to go to Ant-Man for me. This one here is a little newer of a movie. So spot number 7 will have to go to ShangChi. I was actually okay with the movie. It was a little different. I liked the battle scenes. I liked the way they went with it. Some of the stuff may have not been needed, but as for me, I didn't know too much about ShangChi. So just to be able to see this on the big screen and be able to see the character come to life and the concept behind it was pretty good or pretty neat to me. So that gains number 7. So number 6 in my mind has to be Doctor Strange. I know that some of the movie could have been like, no big deal. But I like the way they introduced the multiverse, a lot of the other stuff, that they could bring everything back together, or they can bring others from other universes, from the multiverse in. So to me, that was pretty neat to see, hey, this opens up a lot of doors to maybe people that had passed away, to introducing, X-Men, Fantastic Four, just different stuff. We're seeing what they're doing with Venom. Keep in mind, Venom did not make my list. But you're seeing what they're doing with Venom. You're seeing what they're trying to do to bring everybody in. And that's probably another reason that I chose that for number 6. There was no way it was going to go higher than that because that's basically what I wanted. So I wanted to see what they were going to do with this. So I like the way they introduced the character. I liked a lot of things they did with it. I think some things could have been changed, but, we'll leave that out of it. So number 5, I got my little list here right here, and that's about all I got. So I'm kind of just playing this by mind here, and it's trying to be real quick because I'm doing some laundry and I'm getting ready to go to the grocery store. So that was number 6. So number 5, Captain America Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier program to me was pretty neat to see. The introduction of Bucky Barnes, the whole Winter Soldier in general, the whole way they introduced the brainwashing, what they could do in the 80s. Obviously, when Russia, for us, 70s, 80s, Russia was a big deal. You had a lot of people thinking about those, the candidate, Machuro candidate, whatever, I probably messed that up, but the mind washing, the brainwashing, the controlling, all that stuff. So to me, that sparked a big thing is like, man, that could have been something, and granted that they have had encounters where they believe this stuff was true. So to me, Captain America Winter Soldier was going to take that number 5 spot. Also, in the number 4 spot, Guardians of the Galaxy. One, I think they did a real good job on introducing that character, that group, the way they kind of went and did the outer space thing. For me, growing up in the 80s, I had a lot of aunts and uncles that listened to that type of music. So the soundtrack for me, number one, was the greatest thing in the world. Number two, as a troubled, I'm not going to say a troubled youth, but we had our issues growing up. We had a lot of family problems. We had, we were field workers, so we went out and worked in the fields in the summers, and it was tough. We had not a lot of money to save, so, just to be, and of course, losing my parents early on, nothing to do with any of this, but it kind of gives you that I got to grow up feeling. But at any point in time, you could have wished that, hey, just like on Guardians of the Galaxy, they come down, swoop you up, and they create this whole new life for you just to take you away. Would have been kind of neat, but I'm glad the outcome is the outcome. And Guardians of the Galaxy for me has to be number 4, soundtrack and the fantasy world of it. This could have been something that, if one of us got picked up and had a different life, would have been pretty neat. Again, I know this is all fantasy, but those are my ways of thinking about it. So number 3. I know number 3 is going to be high on everybody else's list. For me, Black Panther took the spot of number 3. And the reason being is I like the breakthrough they did with it. I like the introduction to Black Panther. A lot of us weren't, too familiar with Black Panther, or even the character, or even the comics. Growing up, that wasn't something that we were taught to appreciate. So I like the way they did the breakthrough with the character. Obviously, they introduced him before, but they were able to actually give him this solo movie. And I think they did really good with it. The technology, the way the city was hidden, Wakanda was just this paradise. And it was just amazing. Although for me, the storyline was a little basic. Granted that a lot of these movies, the storyline is basic. But, blood versus blood, the feud. I want what he's got. I got this grudge. That stuff we kind of see in everyday life. So to me, that was just a basic storyline, but I loved what they did with the character. I loved how they introduced them. I loved the way they did the technology, showed all the vibranium, what they could do with it. It was just a different thing, just a breakthrough in technology and all kinds of stuff. So for me, Black Panther, spot number 3. So on spot number 2, we are going to stick with the Avengers. Avengers was always the thing for me to see, but Endgame. So for me, spot number 2, Avengers Endgame. It was neat to see everybody get back together, get back to fighting the main threat, which was Thanos. And for me, speaking on Black Panther, the fact that, they introduced him towards the end when they brought him back, his battle cry at the end of it, we all got to admit that gave you chills. Just him showing up, Chadwick Boseman did a freaking fantastic job on Black Panther. He nailed it. Rest in peace. I wish we could have seen more of him, but on to the future of the movies. Let's see what they do with the Black Panther character. But that battle cry, when I can't even repeat the battle cry. I don't, however, Bombay, I'm going to mess all that up. But that there was just perfectly done. And that was like the oh shit moment. This just got real. So that's why Avengers Endgame, when everybody came back, even the women of power, everybody that was finger snapped came back. That was just fantastic. You will never take that away from Avengers Endgame. And the only reason that didn't get my number 1 spot is because of him, Spider-Man. I was so excited to hear that Marvel and Sony were finally going to work together to allow Spider-Man to come into the multiverse. So or the MCU. So if that gives you any idea, the number 1 spot for me goes to Captain America Civil War. And for the fact that I love the way they took the groups and they put them against each other. And they just battled it out. Their differences, what they were friends before, so forth. But the introduction of Spider-Man, to me, was always going to be the top part of the movie. When Captain America yells out, "Hey, kid!" You see that damn web come out, grab that Captain America shield, and then he holds it up there, and he's got his little pose. That's it. To me, I was hooked. The cheesy one-liners, just reminding you that a kid was in this movie, and he might be an adult now, but the concept behind it, right? He was a kid. For me, Spider-Man was the biggest thing for me growing up. The biggest character, was really out there for all the TV shows, cartoons, everything. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, even from the late 70s TV show to all the cartoons everywhere. He's always been in everything, comic books, everything. He's got crossovers everywhere. So to see that happen was perfect for me. And I couldn't just but cheese. I had the smile going when I seen that. So to me, growing up, again, you as a kid would hope for superpowers. His were perfect. His were just, something that you would think, no, I'm not going to stick my hand in there for a damn Black Widow to bite my hand, because that's what we had growing up in California. In our neighborhood was a lot of Black Widows. And that wasn't going to happen. But again, critters, creatures, all that stuff, that was, perfect for me. Spider-Man was always been a big part of my life. What they've done with it, I will be a webhead till the day I die, hence the name. I just had to change the logo up a little bit because, copyright's the son of a gun, right? So, Captain America Civil War, for the introduction to Spider-Man, will always have the number one spot for me. And that is going to do it for the MCU Top 10. I'm real horrible at tagging anybody. So, anybody watching this video that feels that they want to make an MCU Top 10 movie review, do it. Let's go ahead and get all the people out there that we can to do this. I'm not going to tag anybody. I would like to see Princess of Comic Gains. I don't even know how much she watches my videos. I know we talk about certain things a lot. I would like to see a woman's perspective on these MCU movies, where their top 10 are, or any other women that we have out there, or ladies that we have watching these YouTube videos. Give us your feel on this male-dominated society that we have for superheroes, because now we have the women of power movement going on. So we have all the women being empowered, and a whole different side of superheroes that I'm honestly am ready to see how this pans out. So I would love to see the other side kind of give their movie reviews, see what they feel about a lot of the stuff and a lot of the upcoming stuff. So anybody out there watching this, if you feel like you want to make a video, do it. Let's go ahead and see what your top 10 are. I'm not going to tag anybody because I'm horrible at that, and I don't want to force somebody to do something that they don't want, because sometimes tagging these things, you have to sit here and try to figure it out. I fortunately was able to do this in one hit, but now I got to edit the pictures and so forth. So again, this was actually fun. So thank you, BLC, for tagging me on that and reminding me so I can get this done. So those are my top 10. If you guys can all do me a favor, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think of my top 10, or give me a feel on your top 10. And other than that, any other thing that you guys want to discuss, feel free to put it down in the comments below. So, again, I know I said again so many times, and again. I'm real bad at certain words. But if you guys can do me another favor, please hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you guys haven't already subscribed, and please hit that notification bell so that you guys can get notified with any upcoming video that I'll be dropping here soon. Keep in mind, giveaway description on the video, giveaway links on the description of the video down below. Sorry about that. But again, like always, everybody, that's going to do it for my top 10. Please, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you guys on the next one.